Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Well, hello and welcome to this episode of the show. This is Mike Saunders with Marketing Huddle, and today we have with us Adhis Boucha, the new money mama. Adhis, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike.
Hey, you're welcome, and I'm really excited to get to know you and your business and what you do to help change people's lives. I always love when people have a moniker like the new money mama, so tell us a little bit about what that is and how that came to be.
The new money mama. So basically, I create new money from places where women haven't recognized before that there was money. And I don't just serve women, but it's men too, but it's learning how to create new money.
And new money kind of is a play off of the old, he comes from old money, like inherited money. So new money would be something that you are creating on your own, maybe a side business, maybe something that you're getting into right now, but something that's just not already existed.
That's right.
So what inspired you to start this endeavor, the new money mama?
Okay, the way I started is that you're teaching people how to manage money, so how to create a budget, how to get out of debt, things like that, right? And I was teaching classes in the community, and I eventually became a financial counselor for a guy named Dave Ramsey, who hosts a national radio station, right? Well, as I was teaching these classes, most of my students were husband and wives. And as we would talk about how to overcome debt, and they were very successful in it in my classes, there would always be somebody who said, we need more money, and he knows we need more money, but he won't get another job, or he won't go ask for a raise. And so they would elbow their spouses trying to get them to do what they wanted to have done, right, or what they thought should happen. And so that's when I started introducing the money mindset. Because there was like this helplessness, even with strong women, they were always sitting back and waiting for somebody else to take care of a problem. And I said, honey, if you're the one who gets the inspiration that a change needs to occur, then it's for you to act upon that inspiration. Yeah. Now, they always felt like, well, I'm raising kids at home. I don't have a degree, whatever the thing was. And so that's when, like I said, I started introducing mindset principles to show them that you can attract and create money regardless of what your situation is. And as your mindset starts to enlarge, your capacity to generate, create, and attract money also enlarges.
And also, while you were explaining that, it made me think of this. So has this ever happened? The wife elbows the husband and says, hey, get to it, and you then train her on the mindset, and she starts taking off slowly but consistently, and all of a sudden the spouse goes, what's that again? And maybe they jump on board because they see some momentum and they see some positive changes.
Well, yeah, of course. The thing is, once you create change within yourself, people around you can't help but change. Yeah. So if you want to impact the change in your household, in your community, neighborhood, family, whatever it is, it's got to begin with how you perceive, how powerful you believe you are in affecting change. Usually when there isn't a change happening, it's because someone believes that they don't have the capacity or the ability to enact change. And that's what I unlock with people. Is I help them to break through those limiting beliefs regarding money and worth and what they're able to create so that they can affect change.
Be the change that you want to see in other people. So get to it yourself, and then that tends to kind of become sticky.
It becomes sticky, yeah.
in a great way. So how long have you mentioned you've been doing financial counseling and teaching Dave Ramsey stuff, who is awesome, and that's wonderful. How many years has that been that you've been doing this type of work?
So I've been teaching money management in some form or another for almost all of my adult life. It's something that naturally I was interested in. As far as working with Dave Ramsey's systems, that began about it's probably about 7 years now. 7 years. And New Money Mama, the company, was born about 4 years ago after I realized that, I was watching people pay off tens of thousands of dollars of debt. Sometimes, one of my classes, over $138,000 of debt they paid off within the 2 months they were working with me. And the problem was that even when they paid off all this debt, I found a lot of them still were in this habit of scarcity. They still felt like they did not have enough. And I realized then that the problem wasn't the debt. The problem wasn't the income. It is the story or what value we attach to those circumstances. And so that's when New Money Mama was born. I began focusing mostly on the money mindset with some money guidance. From there, we found that a lot of women and a few brave men had these ideas that they said things to me like, Adhis, I have this idea, but I don't know how to make it into a business, or I don't know if it'll work. And so that's also when I began doing business coaching to help kick these emerging entrepreneurs out of the nest.
Neat, and it's almost like you become a mini incubator, and in the business world, incubators and mastermind groups and actual, VCs and virtual capital investments is a huge thing, but yet any of your students, none of them would be able to jump right into that because that's a high-level world, so you kind of are the accelerator to get them ready for that. Or maybe they never go there, but that's okay because you're teaching them how to do smaller things. So as an example, what's one example of a mama that goes, hey, I think I can do something, and you've helped them do something on a smaller scale? What would an example of that be?
Okay, so I had this one mama, let's say, and she had invested in a direct sales company, right? And she admitted that she hadn't done anything with it. As I got to talking with her, I realized that although she could be good at anything, because she used to be great when she was employed by someone else, that the reason she wasn't acting on this direct sales company is because it was not in alignment with her gifts, talents, or her passions, right? And so what I guide women to do is do the thing that is exciting to you, and then we find the people who also find that exciting. So she ended up becoming a mentor for women. So her product was a clothing line, right? And what she ended up doing was instead mentoring women on how to show up confidently, not just in the way they dress, but in the way that they carry themselves. Well, it was only within a couple of months that she had not just a bunch of clients, but she was asked to speak internationally on the topic of showing up and how you present yourself when you go to business meetings. So that was that right there was really exciting to me, just the fact that she ended up going international. So what usually happens is, though, that women don't have to travel the world. I show you how to build a business that is based around your family. So if you have small kids, you build a business that caters to your family, not your family has to mold to the business. Women will stay longer with their ideas and generate more income if they are feeling fulfilled in what they do and they feel like they're not sacrificing their relationships. So it's so possible, especially in this day and age, with all of the abilities we have to connect and market online, that you can build a very successful, very satisfying business around your family life.
Well, speaking of family, do you ever find that part of your encouragement and counseling and coaching with your clients that the mama's kids are just old enough to be able to participate, and then that pulls the family into the venture just in fun ways so that then they don't feel like they're being pulled away from their family because they're doing it together?
Well, exactly it. What happens is that there's still this myth of how business needs to be run, right? We see how the old money has been run. You've got to wear the black suits. You've got to, make sure everything's structured, everything's perfect. No. All you got to do is enroll your family. That's the biggest thing. If you can enroll your family in the beginning, say, hey, mom's got this idea, and I'm helping people do this, or I'm providing this solution. It doesn't even matter how old the kids are. Even a 3-year-old can understand, like, hey, mommy's helping people right now. Let's make a chart. If mommy helps this many people, then we can go to Disney World, or we can go, whatever, some special treat. If mommy can talk this many people today, we'll go get ice cream. Enroll your family and let them know that what you're doing is not just blessing yourself, but is blessing them. It will bless them to have a happier mommy. It will bless them to have more resources coming to the family. Yeah, enroll them. enroll them.
Well, and also the other aspect made me think of the word integrated, because it's not necessarily I left the house, went to work, punched in, punched out, came home, now I'm the mama. It is an integrated life in the sense that I can be doing a little bit of this while I'm doing other things. You know, I love your example. I was just reading an article on gamification. So, you know, you're kind of making a game out of it. So not only are you pulling the kids in to go root for mama and buy into my vision here, but if I can do X today, then you'll get Y. Well, not only does that make the kids happy, but it motivates the mom to go, hey, I got some accountability there, because those kids are going to say, I want that ice cream.
Yeah, and you know what you also teach them is you teach them delayed gratification. You teach them how to have patience and allow ideas to gestate or to grow. So there are a lot of parenting benefits that come from enrolling your kids in a business.
Yeah, and you know, it doesn't have to be big, and you don't have to be corporation and LLC, and I think it can be something where it's just a natural, you know, my kids are ages 11 to 17, and the older girls play musical instruments, and two of the girls have customers. They teach piano or violin to people at our church or people at their school and charge a fee. And
I love it.
That's a business. You know, I mean, they don't go out and, you know, flyer the neighborhood, but just word of mouth. And I think that now here's something that I've taught them, which I picked up from, years ago from Crown Financial and Larry Burkett, but then also Dave Ramsey teaches it too. But I teach them you do your 10% given to the church, and your 10% you set it aside for your savings, and you need to put these little buckets. And one of my daughters is she just got done coaching my son's soccer team. She was assistant coach for just a few weeks, but she made $350, and she's getting ready to go to college next year. And she goes, yeah, I'm going to put it all in my college fund. And I said, well, let me tell you something. If you don't have a little bit of fun with as you go, so let's take your 10% and for the tithe for the church, and let's put 10% in, for long-term savings. Take $50 and buy a dress, and the rest of it put in your college fund. What do you teach your clients on having a little bit of fun money so that they feel like they're having some benefit before they get to the large, grandiose goal?
Oh, exactly what you teach. You've got to have fun money. I teach them to set up different accounts in their business account. There's some that goes back into the business, some that goes to give, some, obviously to cover business expenses, but there's got to be fun. There has to be celebration along the way, or that's going to burn you out. You're going to start seeing your business and resenting your business. And your business should be an extended of what you find important in the world, what you enjoyed contributing to the planet. So let's not take something that's fun and enjoyable and meaningful and then destroy it, It's supposed to enlarge your spirit.
Well, and I think it's like what you said resonates with the old Henry Ford quote, if, I think I'm remembering it correctly, but, if you do what you love in life for a job, then you really don't have a quote-unquote job. You're just living, and you're doing what you like to do. So why not pick something you're passionate about? Because if you like underwater basket weaving, maybe other people would too, and you can hold a class on it, and there becomes your business. So you rally people around what you already like, because certainly other people would like it as well. Let's say that someone is hearing you or thinking to themselves, I don't have enough money. What is some of the initial steps that they could make to shift their mindset to kind of go from a scarcity mindset to abundance mindset?
Oh, this is one of my favorite topics. So I was born in Venezuela, and my family and I immigrated to the United States when I was 7 years old. And during this time, my father worked 3 under-the-table jobs, and my mother worked a graveyard shift. We ended up living in this roach-infested apartment, and this was in Southwest Florida, right? So it's not like the tiny little roaches. We're talking about the big critters that you could use for transportation if you decided to bridle them.
Yeah, saddle them up.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where we lived, and there'd be times when I'd come home and the phone was disconnected, our utilities was disconnected, There was a Sunday morning that we were getting ready to go to church, and I get out to the carport, and I'm like, where's the car? And my dad thought it had been stolen, so he called the cops, and, the cops told him, your car wasn't stolen, it was repossessed, So this is the kind of life that we had living in the United States, where we came for, quote-unquote, a better life, right? A better life. We had a better life back in Venezuela, and here we are, and I'm thinking, what's this better life, So that's the situation we were in when my dad said to me, Adhis, one day we're going to be rich. And I'm looking at my surroundings, just like, some of your listeners may be looking at their surroundings, seeing the bills overdue. There's not enough. They can't have fun with the kids. They're feeling like, how are things going to get better? How the heck are we going to be, quote, unquote, rich when there's our version of cockroaches around us? So what my dad taught me, though, not just by his words, but by his actions, is that wealth and prosperity and joy and fulfillment begins in the mind. It begins in the mind. And I know that sounds like a hallmark sentiment to a lot of people who are looking at their own versions of cockroaches. But I'll tell you what, we did not have the money to invest in programs, right? We were receiving food from welfare and from church help. But my dad would go to thrift stores, and he would look for books. He would look for cassettes. And those of you who may be listening, cassettes are like these square CDs that we used back in the day.
Google it.
Yeah, Google it. And he would go to meetings, and he would talk with people who had a better life. Now, they weren't wealthy people like what we describe as seven-figure income earners. They were people who had what he wanted, which was a house, a car that stayed on Sundays, right? And so he read, he listened to these CDs, cassettes. We were subjected to people like Tony Robbins and Dennis Waitley and Robert Allen. These are the people whose voices I heard driving in our car when we had it. This is the voices I heard at home coming from our little tape deck, right? And so what happened is that he would begin first building the belief that something better was possible. So you got to believe that it's even possible to attain. Yep. And then feed that possibility through all of your human senses, your sight, your taste, your smell, your touch, your hearing. Feed each of those senses with information that validates that belief, that hope, right? So you've got to eat better foods. You've got to subject yourself to scents that give you faith or confidence or calm you. You got to look at pictures that inspire hope. You got to be careful what you watch and what you listen to as far as entertainment. Feed your mind with anything that feeds that belief or that hope, right? And so that's what he did. He modeled that for me. I'll make this story shorter. Within a few years, we had what was, quote unquote, a normal life. We were living in a home that we were not going to be evicted from. We had cars. We had food that we could choose from the store, not just whatever we received through welfare. We had clothes that fit us, that we could buy for ourselves instead of just hand-me-downs that were 2 or 3 sizes too big, right? So I started seeing this success, wow, we have a normal life. But that's not where my dad stopped, because he continued to feed all of his senses with this belief of prosperity and what we are worth and what we're destined and what we're capable to do. And years after that, he began generating millions of dollars, right? Now, at that point, everybody said, oh, you're just one of the lucky ones. Or, oh my gosh, this overnight success. Yeah, it was an overnight success.
Years.
Yes.
20 years to be the overnight success. Yep.
Exactly. And people would come up to him and say, George, so tell me, I want to have what you have. Tell me what to do. And he's like, all right, well, read this book and listen to this, mentor. And they said, okay, yeah, but once I do that, then what? And he's like, well, you got to keep feeding your mind. Yeah. It's hard
people
to believe
want
that
the easy button.
Well, they don't realize that big results come from small things we do each day. It's the power of that consistent action. It doesn't have to be huge action. It has to just begin with an action that's leading you to the direction of what it is you want. Be consistent in it, and then you will be prepared for huge action. But you cannot just jump into huge action. It'll beat you up. It'll burn you out. It will teach you some really hard lessons if you are not nurturing those small seeds of consistent action.
Isn't it like the old saying, success is where preparation meets opportunity?
That's right.
you can't just be that. If your dad made his millions doing whatever and literally told one of those people that came up, oh yeah, well I do whatever, they could not do it. Just like Michael Jordan back in the day was the best basketball player, and he could say, oh, I shoot baskets and I shoot a high percentage of baskets. Well, the kid off the street couldn't do the same thing because they didn't put in the hours and hours and decades of hard practice and blood, sweat, and tears. And I think too many people have a sense of a word that I see all the time is entitlement. People just feel like, I need it, give it to me now. They don't want to work for it. They just feel entitled, and they want to push a button and go bam. And to me, that's a mindset shift that needs to happen for people in any circumstance. Money, life, education, it doesn't matter.
I love that story about Michael Jordan. I love that analogy. It's perfect. He could give me step-by-step what to do and how to dunk baskets, but I'm not going to be an NBA player. I'm not going to be professional unless I put in the same. Yeah, you got to put in that same sacrifice he put in.
Well, how about this? It's the same type of an example. If someone, like all of my kids play musical instruments, like I mentioned, and I play acoustic guitar, and I'm adequate and okay, but nothing spectacular. But if I gave my acoustic guitar to the world's greatest acoustic guitar player and said, play this, it would sound like my guitar is a $20,000 guitar and be like, oh my word, I can't do that. It's because they have put blisters on their fingers over the years, and I'm sitting here playing the same instrument, and it sounds differently. So I really, really think that people, that kind of momentum builds and that swell, that wave kind of builds up, and at some point things become easier, but it's only easier because you are drawing from your own set of personal life experiences, and people don't realize that.
Love it. I love it.
So, mindset shift, love that. It makes total sense. You have people that you can encourage to find their passion, the thing that just really gets them up in the morning, and maybe start making some slow and methodical progress to turning that into an income stream. Again, not overnight, but better than what you were 2 years ago. And if you don't start now, 2 years from now, you'll be at the same spot. So you might not have made your trillions of dollars after 2 years, but you're making more than you were 2 years ago, and you have to look at that. You can't look at where you want to be and get mad. You look at where you want to be and go, I'm getting closer.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So what can people do to invite more money and prosperity in their lives? What can people do to learn more about what you provide? What would the first step be to have people get to know what you can help them out with?
All right. So I give free information on newmoneymama.com. That's newmoneymama.com. There's get access there to a presentation called 3 Money Mistakes Made by Every Woman, and 3 simple adjustments that you can make today for to experience abundance. Now, guys, if you're listening to this, you're like, well, what about me? What about me? Dude, these principles work for everyone. They are true. So all you got to do is just tune into that, and you use those. 1/3 of my clients are men. It's anybody who resonates with the idea of creating new money, that it comes from you. So go to newmoneymama.com and get started there. From there, I'll lead you on to more information, more ways that you can actually tune into abundance today, not just like 30 years from now, but today.
Well, what I like about what you just said is, and I'm on your site here, and I want to make sure that everyone realizes it's New Money Mama, which is MAMA, so newmoneymama.com. And you did not say get free access to the 327 money mistakes, or get the 101 ways to. I think that people start shutting down and going, that's just so much. 3. I can listen and learn and implement 3 things. Show me the way. So I think that that's a really, really nice way to kind of take your baby steps in. So definitely take advantage of that. And I really appreciate your time on the interview today, Adhis. It's been great getting to know you, and can feel your energy and love what you stand for.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Mike.
You are so welcome. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.